So you're developing apps, but you want to be faster when developing in Android Studio, then this is the right video for you because we are going to look at live templates. And live templates are an amazing tool that make your life a lot easier. They are similar to code snippets in Visual Studio. So if you have ever used those, they will be a very similar approach. So basically you can create your own live templates, and you're going to see how to do that in this video, but you can also use other live templates. And what are live templates? Well, basically it's a code snippet that you can create, or you can use ones that are available already. And you just need to type in a very short code, and this will then basically build the whole code for you. And this is super powerful because it really saves you so much time, especially if you have code that you reuse every now and then. You don't need to copy it from another project, but you just need to store it once in the live template and then you can reuse it. All right, so let's look at the built-in live templates first, and then we're going to build our own live templates, as well as I have a little challenge for you where you will build your own live templates as well. But before we get started, don't forget to hit that like button, and also please subscribe because it really helps out the channel. And we're really trying to grow past the 20K mark so that we can even push more content out. And this really just shows me that you are interested in Android content, and I will release more of it. All right, let's get started. All right, so let's look at live templates, because live templates are something that I really recommend that you use. And I'm going to show you how to find the live templates, how to use live templates, but also how to create live templates that you can then use for yourself, because the live templates that are available in Android Studio are quite limited, I'd say. So if you want to extend those, I highly recommend to do so. And especially when you see that you are reusing a specific piece of code many times, then you will at one point realize, okay, maybe it makes sense to create such a live template. Okay, so let's look at what live templates are, and therefore we're going to go to the settings. So Control-Alt-S is going to open up the settings for me, and then inside of editor, that's where you can find live templates. Okay, and inside of live templates, you have multiple different subfolders. So here you can generate new, and by the way, I can't click on it because I have a plugin installed that you will install later on as well. Alt insert is the shortcut that I need to use. And then I can either create a template group or a live template. And we're going to look at that later on. So we have a bunch of template groups here. For example, an Android template group. Then we have an Android Kotlin template group. So these are the live templates that we can use. For example, there is this live template called RGS, get a string from resources. So this way, if you have a resource string, you can basically just apply it directly using RGS. You don't need to write this with r.string, and string ID and so forth. Or one that you probably have used already is the Toast. So Toast is a live template that we generally use when coding, and we don't even think about it. It's a live template actually. So let's look at this Toast live template. Okay, so here I'm entering Toast, and you can see there is a description here which says create a new toast. And now if I press tab, it will generate this toast code for me, at least the template. And now I just need to enter the variable values. First, I need to enter the context. Then I need to enter the text. So let me go over to Toast again, because once you enter something and you misclick, basically you have to do the rest manually. So the easiest part is really to do it once and correctly, and it will help you a lot. So here, for example, I enter Toast, I press tab, and then I need to pass in the context, and then I press tab once again. And now I can enter the text. So here's something like hello world. Okay, and that's it. So now this will basically create the make text code for me. And the only thing that I needed to enter was Toast, the context, as well as the text that I want to display. I didn't need to call the make text method. I didn't need to call the show method. I didn't need to pass in the length that I wanted to display, even though of course I can change it. So I can change this to a length long if I wanted to, but the length short is the default here. Okay, so that is one of the live templates. Now again, you can of course check out the other live templates that are available here. So go to the editor, live templates, and then you can scroll through the Android Kotlin ones, there are a couple, as you can see here. So view gone, for example, if you have a view and you want to set its visibility to gone in code, you can do that very easily by just using this view gone here. Okay, so this is another example of a live template. Then there are Kotlin live templates specifically, as you can see here. So for example, fun0 is a function with 0 parameters. Just click on it and you will see the template text that will be generated for you. And you can also see that there are a bunch of dollar signs. So if a word is surrounded by dollar signs, this basically means that this is one option that you need to enter, or one variable that you need to enter when using that particular live template. So here, if null, for example, is something that is very useful. So let's use if null real quick. So here, let's create a new variable. Val, my val is going to be 0, for example. Okay. And now I'm going to enter ifn. So if n, and you can see that there is a little description here. It says inserts if null expression. So now let me press tab and you can see now it generated it for me. So here I could go ahead and use my val, press tab once again, and it jumps directly to the code body. So now I can very quickly double check if a variable is null and then run specific code that I want to run if that variable is in fact null. Okay, so this is just another example of a great little template that is available for us. So one of those live templates. So if null was one of them, in inserts if not null, so in with double N, and here again tab, and here you can see now it's not null. So if not null, in the end is INN. At least that's the live template shortcut that you can use for this. So just enter it, press tab, enter the first value, in this case again my val, and then press tab once again and jump directly to the next variable that you need to enter. Okay, so this was just a quick introduction to live templates. In the next video, we're going to see how to create our own live templates. And then I would just recommend that you use this knowledge to create your own live templates with code that you use all the time. But before you do that, definitely check out what kind of templates there are. So for example, check that, let's say you want to create a new object. Well, there is an easy way for this, just enter object. Or if you want to have the main function, PSVM is going to create the main function for you. If you want to generate a singleton or print a string to system out, just enter sout or soutf, prints the current class and function. Well, this is code that is mainly useful for Kotlin development. So if you're writing Kotlin code, but if you want to write Android Kotlin code specifically, you can check out those live templates. And you always see the abbreviation, which is also this keyword here, as well as the description. Okay, so I'd really recommend that you just use this now and discover what Android Studio makes available to you. And in the next video, we are going to create our own live template. So see you there. And by the way, if you like what you're seeing, then please check out my Android Studio Productivity Masterclass. You will find the link in the description. There you will learn a lot more tips and tricks that will help you to become faster when developing Android apps in Android Studio. So check out the link in the description. And now let's get back to the video. Welcome back. In this video, I would like to show you how you can create your own live templates. And this is going to be super useful in many occasions. And that's why I think it makes sense to put that at the beginning of the course, because if you don't learn anything else on the course, using live templates can already make a huge difference in your performance when developing. Okay, so look at this code that we have here. So I prepared these 4 lines of code, and what they do is they will simply give me the date as a string. Okay, the current date as a string. So if I ever need that in my application, I can, of course, write this code manually, or I can Google how it is done, because maybe I have forgotten how to do it and it's been a long time since I've used it, or maybe I use it regularly. So either way, if I prepare a live template for this, then I can reuse it all the time whenever I need it, and it will basically write all of this code for me with just a couple of keystrokes. Okay, so let's look at how we can do that. Therefore, I'm going to copy this code, and you can And you can use the same code or you can use other code, however you like it. I'm just going to demonstrate it with this particular code that we have here. Okay, so I'm going to go to my settings. This opens the settings for me. And here I go to the editor as well as live templates. And then you can decide in which template group you want to add your new template. So for example, I want it to be added in Android Kotlin so that whenever I'm using Kotlin as my programming language when developing an Android application, I'll be able to use that live template. Okay, so here, Android Kotlin, that's where I'm going to add a new. So here I'm going to press Alt Insert. This will then allow me to select live template. So I'm going to press Enter. And then you can see it generates this new live template for me. I now need to enter the abbreviation. So for example, I'm going to call this get current date time, or you could even call it date time if you want to keep it super simple. So however you want to call this abbreviation or whatever you want to enter manually. So you could even call it .time. So let's just call it .time, super short abbreviation. It's not very descriptive, but that's what this description is for. Get current date time in a string. Okay, and then I just need to enter my template text. So here the template text could be just this whole code. Okay, so this is an example of the code that I want to use. I do have a bunch of tabs at the beginning of each line, so let me get rid of those by pressing Shift Tab twice, or marking everything with Control A and then Shift Tab twice in order to get rid of the unnecessary indentation. Okay, so here that's going to be my template code, and now I just need to decide which contexts I want to make this applicable in. And I'm going to say that it should be available whenever I'm working with Kotlin. Okay, so here I'm selecting Kotlin, and here you can see at which levels you want this to be available. I'm just going to say at all levels I should be able to do that, even though it might not be necessary. So maybe you don't want to have this in object declaration, then this live template will not be available at that particular point in time. Okay, so let me now apply this, press OK, and now let me get rid of this code here. And then I'm just going to enter the time. You can see it already offers me, even though I didn't write the T in capital letter, but you see it says get current date time. So I'm going to press Tab, and all of my code is generated for me. Okay, so that is an example where you don't have any parameters that you want to change. So now let's say I want to change parameters here. So for example, I want to have a different pattern, a different format, because here it says day, day, year, 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 month, month. Okay, so what if I wanted to display the format in, let's say, year, 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 then month, 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 day, day. Okay, so in order to do that, I'm going to go back to my settings. I'm going to go to the live templates once again. And here inside of Android Kotlin, that's where I created this live template called .time. And now what I can do is I can make individual parts changeable. Okay, so here I'm going to get rid of this because I want to only make this part here specifically changeable, and I'm going to call this format. Okay, so now this is going to be in $signs. So $, format, $. So the word, however I call it, or maybe you want to call it date format, something more descriptive. So this is going to be the entry that now will be adjustable every single time that I use this live template. And it will actually ask me to enter date format. Okay, so let's apply this once again. Let's go back. And now let's get rid of these lines once again. So here, I'm going to get rid of those lines here. And I'm going to use .time once again, which will basically be my live template. I press Tab. And now you can see my cursor directly jumps into this pattern. Okay, so I said I wanted to use a format like year, 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 then month, month, then day, day. And then let's also use hours and minutes. Okay, so now I can press tab once again, and it jumps to the end of this complete new statement that I have added. Okay, so it's at the end of my live template that I have added to my project. So now you see how you can create your own live templates, and I would recommend that you go ahead and think of situations where you would need those templates. This is a very specific example, of course, where we are using the date format, but it could be something very simple. Okay, and I have a little challenge for you in the next video. So see you there. Welcome back. In this video, I have a little challenge for you. And the challenge is to take this code that you have right here and create a live template for it, because this is something that is used quite often, I'd say, because you're very often using intents and you want to put an extra information to that intent or send extra information over via this intent to the other activity. So this is something that I would use quite often, or I do use quite often. So that's why I would recommend that you try to create a live template just for that. And the thing that you need to be careful of is, of course, what are the parts of this code that you want to make individual or adjustable. Okay, that's something that you need to take into consideration and put those parts of the code inside of $signs. Okay, so please go ahead and try to do that. Pause the video for this. Try to create an extra live template and then use that live template to test it. And also, by the way, I have this extra variable here, which I created at the top. You can use this, of course, also as part of your live template here. All right, so good luck with the challenge. Okay, so I hope you tried it. Let's go ahead and build that live template. So here I'm going to go to Android Kotlin and I'm going to press on this little icon and then select live template. Here I'm going to give this code an abbreviation. So I'm going to call this put extra intent and creates an intent with extra details. Okay, so this is something that I want to create with this. Now I have my code. I'm going to mark all of it with Control A and then use Shift and Tab in order to get rid of the indentation on the left-hand side for every single line. What you could do is you can change the context, but I'm just going to leave it as this, even though sometimes if you want to use this code, for example, in a fragment, then you would have to make sure that you are using the fragment instead of this as the context. So that's something that is a little more advanced. So I'm just going to keep this here, and then this second activity, that's what I'm going to actually change. So I'm going to surround second activity with $signs. Okay, so here I'm going to add a $sign at the beginning of the word as well as at the end of the word. So this is the name of the activity that the intent should move over to. Okay, so it's moving from the current activity to the second activity. And then what is it that I want to put extra? So here it's going to be the name of the value that I want to enter and the variable that I want to pass. Okay, so the object that I want to pass over using put extra. And that's already it. So there's not much more to add than this to the template text, at least. Now I need to also define where this should be available. And I'm going to say it should be specifically available in Kotlin. Okay, now let me apply those changes and press OK and get rid of this code that I have here. And now I'm going to call this put extra intent. And you can see there is my live template that I created. So I'm just going to enter this. Now I need to give it a name. So the activity that I want to move over to, I'm going to call this second activity. Then I need to say what the name of the extra detail should be. And I'm going to call this value. Now you might wonder, how did it enter the value for me? Because I didn't enter it manually. Well, that has to do with the following. Let's look at our template text once again. So we use $value$ and again $value$. So it assumes that this is exactly the same thing. So it's going to use the same word that you have entered at this point for this point. So if you enter a variable once, it will be used for the variable throughout your template text. Okay, so throughout the code. So what this means is that you can, of course, change your intent. And that's what I said earlier on. This would make it more complicated, but now let's try it. Let's actually surround intent with $signs here every single time. Okay, so now we have intent surrounded by $signs, and this is always going to be the same thing. Now, what if I want to change the value here? Well, I'm going to call this value var. Okay, so this is the value name or value string, so to speak. Where should the extra be located, or what's the name of the extra, so to speak? And this is the actual value. So you could even call this name and this value. This really depends on how you want to name your individual variables. But now you can see there is a lot more for us to select. Okay, but let's test this. So let's go over here. Let's get rid of those 3 lines. And once again, use our put extra intent. And you can see you don't even need to enter all of that. The IDE, so our Android Studio, is directly offering us our template. Okay, so I'm going to use that one. And now I need to give it a name. So the intent name, I'm going to call this one my intent, for example. And you can see it replaced the empty spaces before this put extra, as well as inside of start activity directly for me. So I didn't need to enter them manually every single time. Now let's press tab. And once I press tab, it jumps over to this part where I now need to select the activity that I want to jump to. And let me press tab once again. Now I need to enter the name of the value, and I'm going to call this value 1, for example. I press tab once again, and now I need to actually pass the variable. So I'm going to pass my value here. Okay, so this allows you to now basically create your own templates however you want to use them. You've seen how you can make your life easier by reusing the same variable, or how you can give yourself more options by actually making it a variable that you want to reuse by, for example, making an entry variable as well, where you need to enter it manually, which can be very useful if you want to use multiple different intents and you want to give them different names. It really makes sense to use this approach that we have used in the second part of the video. But other than that, now you're basically able to create your very own live templates for whatever use you have. So now I would like to ask you something. Could you please share your live template ideas with us? So if you have a live template that you would like to share with us, just share it in the Q&A, and this will then help other students to get some ideas what they could use this for, as well as use your ideas for their own templates. And this helps everyone. So I'd be very happy if you share your own ideas, and this also helps you to really force yourself to actually do it and actually use it. All right, so you made it all the way to the end. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then please leave a like and also hit that subscribe button. And if you really love the video, then definitely check out my productivity masterclass. You can find the link in the description below. And also, please comment your ideas of live templates. So whatever live template you created, please comment it under this video so that we can check it out, and other viewers can then also test your live templates and become better programmers and faster programmers. All right. So I wish you a nice day and see you in the next video.